Hi, you guys. Welcome to my channel. This is Hello Karleen. I'm Karleen, your host, and we're going to dive into a mystery today and see what might have happened or what information is coming through for me. Well, what are we going to start off with? Imagine a group of over 100 people disappearing without a trace, leaving behind only a cryptic word carved into a tree. What really happened to the lost colony of Roanoke? Today, we dive deep into this enduring mystery, exploring history, theories, and a spiritual reading to try to uncover the truth. The year was 1587. John White led a group of settlers to Roanoke Island, off the coast of what is now North Carolina, to establish a colony. A supply trip back to England delayed White's return for 3 years, and when he finally arrived in 1590, the colony was abandoned. The only clue? The word Croatoan carved into a post. What happened to these settlers remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in history. So there's several themes, theories that people have, and we'll go through them in the reading. But one is assimilation with native tribes. Some believe the colonists were taken in by the Croatan or other nearby tribes. Death by starvation or disease. Harsh conditions may have led to their demise. Spanish or other attacks. Could they have been victims of outside aggression? Or a supernatural element. Legends hint at curses or even paranormal forces. So let's have a deep dive in and have a look into what could have happened at Roanoke. Okay, so let me pull a card and see what comes up. Ooh, wow. I'm already feeling like I'm walking through a forest. I feel like I'm walking through a forest and it smells like trees, and I'm feeling like the branches like scratching my face. Um, you know, there was I see fire for some reason. It's fire, but there's a is it a fire spot? I don't feel like the it burned, but there's something about fire. Um, Roanoke. What happened to the people of Roanoke? What happened to the people of Roanoke? I've got Angel of Eloquence and Daniel. This is 50. Eloquence, Eight of Wands. So Eight of Wands has to do with flight, has to do with fleeing, movement, travel, going. And so it's eight arrows that are going in the air. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. And it has to do with messages, receiving information and acting on that information and taking a step forward, making a movement. So I'd want to say that they moved. Did they move somewhere? They left. They packed up and they left. But what happened after that? I'm seeing a man standing. There's a man who's standing and who's speaking, who's taking charge of things. Um, taking charge and saying this is what we got to do, guys, like basically saying this is what we should do. But I also feel like there was a vote because I keep seeing hands that go up in the air. I can't draw hands. I can't draw hands. I keep seeing hands that are going up in the air, and I'm seeing this person who's like who's speaking who's speaking. I shouldn't have erased that, but okay. um Oops. The heck. Okay. I keep seeing someone who's speaking, a speaker, someone who's eloquent, like this angel of eloquence here. This is Daniel. Daniel was ah, able to speak in the story. What else is coming up, please? It feels like they were convinced to do this, okay? Someone convinced them to do this. Someone took charge, took the lead. Why? I I feel they were trying to get, I think Croton is also an island, yeah. It's now called Hatteras Island, as far as I remember. And they were definitely trying to get there. So it does feel it makes sense that they would carve that in the tree to let them know, because how else would they let them know? Like carving it in a tree, it stays there for years and years and years. So whenever they came back, they would see that. And apparently, Jacob White didn't have the money to go look, to sail over to Croton Island and look if they were there. But if he had, they wouldn't have been there anyways. I feel like mm, I'm picking up sickness and death. Okay, I'm picking up sickness, dying, disease. I also feel like they were being watched. They were being watched, and I feel like this caused them unease, and I feel like this caused them great discomfort, insecurities, paranoia, discomfort, paranoia. I feel like they were being watched and nothing was done because the sickness and the disease was going to take them out anyways. Something to do with water. There was something to do with water, the water that they drank. The water that they drank, that's what's coming up. Something to do with water. It's almost like they couldn't get clean water. Something. uh, All of a sudden, it's like a dead animal fell into a well or something and poisoned the water, or into there's something that randomly happened and they couldn't get clean water. Let me pull a card here. Yeah, Nine of Cups and Ten of Coins. They were looking for happiness, for peace. The Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment, but it's also a water card. It's out of the water element, so that's confirming. And they had land plenty, Ten of Coins, but something to do with water, seeking fresh water, good water, not quite sure. What was with the water, please? What was with the water? Queen of Swords. Yeah. It feels like a decision needed to be made. Okay. This is Queen of Swords energy. It feels like a decision needed to be made, a pointed decision for healing. This had to do with healing. I'm also feeling like something came about in dreams. Like there was something that one of them dreamt. Someone was talking about a dream they had that would lead them somewhere else. But it definitely started with water. Mm. Mhm. Water from time. Leadership. It keeps coming up. Leadership. Someone took the reins. Someone took the reins because they were panicking. They were panicking. And it felt like before things get worse, let's make a move. The Eight of Wands that came up in the beginning. They moved, you guys. Of course, these Eight of Wands are also shown to be eight arrows, so arrows that maybe came down on them, but I'm not picking up an attack. I feel like they were watched, and I feel like they were sick, and I feel like the natives knew that it would only be a matter of time anyways, and didn't waste their energy or effort in taking them out. I don't feel that, but I feel that they were watched. Yeah. Where did they end up? Where did they go? Where did they go? Were they assimilated into another group? Did they reach another group? I don't feel that they reached another group, because eventually someone would have spoken up. Someone would have said, yeah, I was on Roanoke, but nobody came forward. Like there would have been some kind of a history or a story. Somebody would have said we left Roanoke and then we, went to North Carolina or whatever. Like it would have been somehow noted in some way, shape, or form. Mm-mm. This is sickness, disease, contaminated water. Hmm. Yeah, contaminated water. There's really something about not having enough clean water, no clean water. I I also feel them being like getting sick, like they got sick. I keep seeing these bodies lying there and I see eyes watching them. But but I also see hands. Like there are these hands that are, I can't draw hands, sorry. There are these hands that are coming in and picking them up. There is compassion in the air. This doesn't feel like a massacre or slaughter. It just feels like no clean water. It feels like disease and death. And it feels like they were helped. So I want to say maybe they were assimilated into the native tribes. Maybe they were, um, because they were being helped by the natives with their situation. I feel like this could be, but I feel like many of them, disease and death just took them out. I see them, some of them integrating into the native tribes, but I don't know if that would have happened already or not. But I feel disease and death very strongly, and something to do with the water. Like the water was contaminated or dirty or, you know, like highly high bacteria content, that kind of thing. Because I'm seeing this water and it's not looking clean to me. It's looking clean, but there are all like these little specks in it, like all over, and stuff floating in it, stuff floating in the water. And it doesn't feel like this was clean. Like I'm not getting a bad feeling tuning into this, which is interesting because usually when really bad things happen, I get the ick. I get that feeling of disgust in my stomach. And that's not what I'm getting here. I'm getting eyes watching. I am getting eyes watching, and I'm just gonna do this. I'm getting hands that are coming in and helping, lifting, carrying. I see people being carried like on stretchers. Okay, I see people being carried. And I see people being carried. I see people being carried. Um, and something with a fire. I feel like, oh my gosh. Oh my God, they were burned. They were burned. That's why there is no trace. They were burned because the natives didn't know what was wrong with them or why they were sick. And so they were burned so that the colony, like the native colonies, wouldn't be affected. They were burned. All the bodies were burned, and there were a handful of them that survived. And they were then possibly integrated. That's what I'm feeling. But it really feels because I keep seeing this fire. Like that's what I saw in the beginning was this fire, this fire that just, but it wasn't a fire that just happened or just ran through the woods or whatever. It was an intended fire, but it wasn't a small fire. I kept seeing like this big fire, but it wasn't a forest fire. And I couldn't place it, but now I can place it. And I feel the bodies were burned, and that's why there's no trace. And it wasn't done out of a bad thing, but in order to protect the rest of the people, like the native people, the native colonies that were there. Because they didn't know. They didn't know. They're like, why are these people suddenly dying? And but the natives probably died as well. So there was something with the water. I keep seeing that something with water, that it was contaminated, dirty, not fit for consumption. And I see this person who's standing up and like leading the crowd, like telling them, we need to move, we need to go, we can't stay here, we can't sit, and being very persuasive because I feel like there was a hesitation, like a real hesitation to leave the island. They wanted to wait for the supplies. They wanted to wait for White to come back, but they couldn't. They literally couldn't. They couldn't hold out anymore. Too many were already sick and dying, and they thought, if they stay any longer, then it's going to be all of them, and it was all of them, except for a handful, like a few that ended up in assimilated into the area. And I feel that those would have been children, so they wouldn't have thought to say that they were originally from Roanoke later on in their lives. They probably didn't even have a name for it. This would have been very small children, babies. Wah. And I feel like there's nothing creepy or spooky about the energies when I tap into it. It's not like this sudden disappearance or anything like that. This is no. Okay, so that's all I'm getting, you guys. And I really have a feeling that that's pretty much all there is to it. I don't feel anything spooky or anything like that. I feel like I said in the beginning, there was a huge fire that I couldn't place because it wasn't a forest fire. It wasn't that kind of a fire. Very strongly felt the water, very strongly felt right away they left, and very strongly felt that they were actually supported, watched, and supported by the community, the native community around them. So helped, like it was all, everybody helped everybody kind of thing. Let me pull one more card here. Card for the Roanoke community. What happened to the Roanoke community, please? What happened to the Roanoke community? And I said one more and I pulled three. So here we have three cards. And what happened? We've got the moon. Okay, the moon definitely has an influence on water, has to do with water. This is all anxiety, worries, panic, fear, all kinds of things happening. Then we have another water card, the Queen of Cups. Okay, so I really feel like the source of their water, the queen, the source of their, what gives to them, the source of their water was somehow not good. And here we have the Ten of Cups, which is joy, happiness. So they left with joy. They left with happiness. They didn't leave with, in a sense of joy, happiness, in the sense that, there's help. We're not alone. There's support. They're not surrounded by enemies and trying to, retreat while they're being sick, like nothing like that. It feels like it was a, okay, let's just do this and get this done type of energy. And they were helped, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't at that time, it just wasn't enough. But what's interesting is that the moon has control over water. And here we have a water card, and here we have another water card. So I'm really picking up this water element, you guys, and feel that it had something to do with water, and that at the end of it, because I keep seeing this big fire, this big pyre, they were burnt. Like the bodies that died were burnt because at the time there was no understanding why these people were getting sick or what was wrong with them. And as a precaution, they were burnt. Okay. So yeah. So that's it for Roanoke, you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching, and make sure to sign up for the remote viewing class that I'm offering in February. We start in February. Sign up now before this opportunity slips away from you. And also sign up for the trip that we're doing in September to one of the most beautiful spiritual areas that you can possibly explore, where you're I just can't wait for you to share this moment with me. And more information on the trip, on the retreat in September 2025 is also in the description box below. So I'll see you soon, hopefully in person, and see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.